Hey, Eddie here from Set and Flow Yoga and Eddie Guerra Fitness to talk to you today about body language um, in regards to teaching a group fitness class or even in everyday life. So, best example I can give you, imagine if where you're sitting or where you are at, a chiropractor were to walk into the room, you would probably instantly kind of sit up. Or if you were going to go meet your favorite actor or actress. Who's your favorite actor? Oh, okay. I got a Leo DiCaprio. So apparently, if my colleague was going to meet Leo DiCaprio, she would be like this, right? That's the kind of posture you want to inspire when you go teach your class. Now, I have what I call civilian posture and then teaching posture. So my civilian posture is kind of like this. It's still pretty good, but this is what I consider civilian. Like I'm just day to day. I'm not paying too close attention to it, but it's there. When I go teach, however, I'm here, right? So now I'm full on engaged Pilates style, right? Or just imagine if you were going to, as if you were royalty or something like that. You want to have this posture where your shoulders are drawn down the back, the chest is lifted, the abs are in, like you're engaged. A couple of things about body language. You can make a huge amount of corrections just by demonstrating proper body language to students when you're teaching them. I'm going to give you an example. Just sitting up, right, beginning of class. If you're starting class and you're starting in a seated position and they're here, right, simply by you looking at somebody and just doing that, they'll instantly look at you and go, oh, okay, wait a minute. Or if you're walking around the room and say you're having them do mountain pose, right, Tadasana, or some type of plank, or some type of movement where they have to have good posture, right? You go by them, you just do this. I don't have to say anything. I just make eye contact, obviously, but then my body language does the talking for me. This is very important because your body language conveys a lot of information, a lot of communication that is on a subconscious level or is on a level that will instantly register rather than you having to talk. So keep in mind that with body language, you want to have a presence and you want to have a body language that basically imparts what it is that you embody. So if you're about embodying posture, whether you're a yoga teacher, Pilates teacher, then you kind of have to walk the walk. And one way to do that is through that. One interesting thing about body language, and there's a really good TED talk by this lady named Amy Smart, is that she found through cultures throughout the world, anytime that, say they had a race and the victor, right, the victor won the race, victory, they would do something like this, right? So this is all across the board, all cultures. So what she found was that by doing this, you can influence your own biochemistry, increase dopamine levels, serotonin levels, et cetera, et cetera. So there's proof, evidence that you can influence your mind by the way you carry yourself. Really important information because it may take somebody who's brand new to your class, has no idea about this, and you can draw, that's Maggie barking in the back, you can draw attention to that, be like, hey, this maybe embodies a bit of fear, right? It's a fearful posture as opposed to being here. And in time, you keep bringing in awareness to that student. And 2 or 3 months, you'll see a complete different change, one in their movement and even the way they behave. It's a really interesting experiment. So if you're a teacher and you're kind of into both the scientific approach and just the social aspect of teaching good posture, then this is something you want to pay attention to. Another thing about body language, depending on what section you're doing, if, for example, you're starting off with, say, a yoga beginning or a yoga cool down, then your body language would be a little more calm, a little more formal, right? As opposed to if you're teaching a body weight section, your body language would be a little more commanding, a little more like, hey, you have to do this, a little more urgent. Again, pick what you want, but just know that there's different flavors and be aware of that so that you can use different body language to make your class feel like this as opposed to like this. And we talked about this last time before with voice. Like if you have somebody with just this monotone voice the entire time, like you can tune out. Same with body language. If you have the same body language throughout the entire class, people tend to tune out. So that's all on body language. Just to recap again, have the body language that you want to see in others. Use body language to non-verbally correct students, particularly posture. Just making these little gestures like will improve their movement and their posture quite a bit. And pick which body language you're going to use to correspond to which section. So if you have a high intensity section you're going to do in your class, then pick the correct body language. If you're going to have more of a cool down or more of a yoga vibe to it, then pick the appropriate body language. Okay, so that's all for body language. One other thing, embodiment, right? So bringing up, talking about the student who's in class, like, hey, what type of posture would you like to embody? Something strong or something withdrawn? Not that one is bad or worse than the other, just it's all about awareness, right? Okay, I'll see you next time where we're going to talk about use of space. Peace.